Every week, the Payne family cuts straight to the real financial story.
The one question, Bob, everyone's asking is, are we in an artificial intelligence bubble? You've been through boom and bust. What do you think?
No hype, no myths. Just what actually matters to your money.
Does feel very similar to what we experienced in the 90s. Where are we, though? Are we in 1995, 1997, 1999?
Listen to the Pain Points of Wealth on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Yes, it is the Anthony Cumia Show. Welcome, and thank you for tuning in. Another Sunday, another week goes by. More of my God. You know, I am definitely going to need a daily show here. It just, Sunday, a week ago, Sunday, I get done with doing the Anthony Cumia Show. Great time, great calls and the subject matter. And then like an hour after I am done with the show, all hell breaks loose. And I got to wait a week to come back and talk about it with you fine people. So, I think I'm going to need a daily show. Talk to the boss. I'm going to have to talk to the boss about that one. Because now we're talking about, honestly, was the Venezuelan bombing like a week ago? I don't even know anymore. I don't know what I'm an expert at this week. Venezuelan politics, the ICE, maybe ICE and Border Patrol laws and what regulations they must adhere to. That looks like what we got now, though. That's what everyone's an expert at. What cops need to do or not do when their lives are seemingly being threatened by protesters or, depending on who you talk to, just some woman trying to just drop her kids off at school. A saint on earth. And look, I'm not going to speak ill of the dead, but there's the big but in there. Everyone says that when you say something and then go but, you could just throw away what they said beforehand. Perhaps. Renee Nicole Good. She is the woman that was dispatched by ICE during one of these ridiculous protests that are going on. This is so stupid of these people to go out and directly interfere with the job of these federal officers. And she paid what they call the ultimate price with her life. And, there's stories that both sides have. And you know what I'm talking about when we say sides. This country is so divided, it doesn't even resemble a united country anymore. So depending on what side you talk to, she was the greatest thing, the sweetest woman, just driving her kids to school. And she must have made a wrong turn, got caught up with in this melee, and Border Patrol came over and just summarily executed her as she was on her phone saying hi to her kids or something. And the other side is she's a domestic terrorist with fangs and blood dripping from her teeth, and she got the car up to about 160 miles an hour before she slammed into an entire group of law enforcement. The truth lies somewhere in the middle. And people know me. If you've listened to the show, you know me personally. You've listened to whatever iterations of the Anthony Cumia Show over the course of the years. You'll know I am a very strong supporter of law enforcement in this country. I have many cops that are friends. And I always talk about how the laws that the police are enforcing. These are people that we have said, hey, here are the set of laws. Now you're the people that have to go out and make sure that people are obeying those laws. And even the legislation of those laws have been agreed upon. Sometimes we don't like some of them. Sometimes we are very strongly in favor of some of them. But our system here in this country is that we as the people let our representatives know what we want done, what we want them to legislate. And they do it. And sometimes it doesn't turn out quite right. But this is the system we have all agreed upon. The system that this country, that everyone presumes to say is amazing, greatest country in the world. Those are the very rules that keep it together. We agreed that there are certain laws and rules that we must abide by. And then there are people entrusted with enforcing those laws and rules. The police, law enforcement, the DEA, ICE, the Border Patrol, all of the different law agencies, state, local police. And if something need be changed, well, then we need to go to legislators and change that, because that's how our country works. When people don't obey those laws and they directly interfere with the job of the people we've entrusted to enforce those laws, they need to be held accountable. They need consequence in their lives. This is what we agreed on. This is the way America works. Right? I don't like some of the things. I know we've somehow all agreed that you should not be able to take your car and do 100 miles an hour down the roadway. It's dangerous to you, to other people, and we agreed to it. When you get pulled over, I'm talking about a friend of mine. When you're in your Jaguar and you get pulled over for doing 110 in a 55, you're not celebrating. That's not a fun, good day. And you know what you did. You know you disobeyed the rules that we agreed upon. And there are going to be consequences. And that's called being a citizen, someone that could work within a society of people. We don't have to like it. We don't agree with every law, but we've agreed to this system. So when you have these people going out and interfering with law enforcement, they need to be held accountable. Now, what is that accountability? Being shot in the face 3 times? I don't think that's the rule of thumb here. But if things get to a certain point, that could happen. It's a risk when you enter into this realm of disobeying the laws, regardless of what those laws are. Could be shoplifting. When you interfere with the people we have appointed to enforce those laws, you might get a ticket. You might get 3 bullets in your face. You're taking that risk. There's no guarantee that your actions won't result in the unbelievable ultimate consequence when you put your toe into the world of disobeying the law and working outside the system that we have agreed to. So when Renee Nicole Good decided to block the road and would not allow ICE agents to do their job, you would think, well, she's blocking the road. Let's say you blocked the road for some reason. You're unloading something from your car and it's just going to be a minute and you block the street. Do you deserve 3 bullets in the face? Probably not. Probably not. If you escalated things when a law enforcement officer turns up, do you deserve 3 bullets in the face? Still, probably not, but you're getting closer. You're certainly getting a little closer. And if you bring it to fruition, when you break the law, you disobey law enforcement, you don't obey their lawful order. She was told to exit the vehicle. You're under arrest at that point. Get out of the vehicle. Law enforcement is allowed to ask anyone in their car on the roadway when they are approached and stopped by those police officers to exit the vehicle. They don't even need to tell you why at that moment. Pennsylvania versus Mims. Look it up. And she decided in that moment, a giant crossroad in her life. One is an immediate dead end, and the other one, an arrest, probably released on her own recognizance, no real penalty, or 3 bullets in your face because you decided to put your car in gear, step on the gas, put it in drive, and accelerate toward a law enforcement officer. You then got 3 bullets in your face. Is that something that's justified? Man, now you are really almost begging for 3 bullets in your face at that point. You see escalation, things, how that changes something as simple as, well, she's just blocking the road. Well, she just dropped her kids off. Well, she's a great woman. She's beloved. Between that and, oh, my God, she's attempting to kill a law enforcement officer who then acted in self-defense. Do you see how you could almost make 2 sides to that story, depending on how you look at it, where in time you're choosing to pick and choose what was happening? Right when she stopped the vehicle, when she was blocking the road, did she deserve it? All the way up till accelerating toward a law enforcement officer. Any instance in there might not justify what that officer did, right up until that bumper hit him. Then you made your own bed, lady. I feel sorry for the family and all that, but this was all on her. Your calls, 800-848-9222, and a lot more. Oh, my goodness, a lot more of the Anthony Cumia Show when we return.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
The Anthony Cumia Show, and as I said, the phone line's lit. We will get to them, 800-848-9222. And don't forget my X account. I scroll through that during the breaks, and if you have a comment, something maybe you want me to get to on the show, it's Anthony Cumia. My last post, you could just respond under that, and I scroll through there, and if you got something of interest, we will discuss. All right, let's go to Ben in D.C. How you doing, Ben?
Good. How are you, Anthony?
Great.
So about the Minnesota stuff, it's just I used to be liberal, but it seems like now liberals just live in a different reality. To say this woman was just dropping her kids off and on her way home, at the very least, she was there as a protester. At the very least, she was there to impede ICE.
Absolutely.
Right?
They don't even want to fess up to that, but absolutely, she was at the very least there as a protester.
So, I don't really know how America deals with this when you have a significant amount of the population, namely liberals and quite frankly, namely women, who just have a opinion that's divorced from reality.
Yeah, well, this has been cultivated for decades now, Ben. This is something that women especially, but liberals, women are very susceptible to this. They're very malleable when it comes to listening to liberal ideology. I don't know why. Maybe it's that emotional thing, that over-emotional, nurturing mother thing. Call me misogynistic for saying this. I have millennia of proof that there is a difference between men and women. Okay, but they're very impressionable when it comes to emotional issues, and what we're seeing is a multiple decades long program of brainwashing them. They're half the country. They cancel out a lot of men votes. And a lot of those canceled votes are based on emotions and feelings and I think this or that. Very little rational thought seems to be going into these liberal women. And what we're seeing as a result, and especially over the past few years, they haven't been called out on this. No one's really said, hey, you are mental. What are you doing? What are you thinking? What are your priorities? That woman was a mother of 3 who decided to pick a fight with ICE agents. I mean,
Exactly.
What the hell are you doing? It could happen. You could get killed, and she did. Over what? For what? Her beliefs? How about your kids now? Orphans.
She got killed for a bunch of Somalians who don't care about her at all. That's what she got killed for.
Yep, they wouldn't give a crap about her kids, They probably want to stone her to death for the fact that she's a lesbian with a wife. I mean, what are you doing? Because they've been brainwashed that no matter what law enforcement is doing, it has to be wrong. It has to be bad. It has to be on the wrong side of history. So when they see ICE out there, they've been hearing that they're tearing families apart. They're ripping children from their mother's arms. They're deporting American citizens. They're murderers. So they believe this because they aren't using any real rationale. They're just using pure emotion, and they're brainwashed. Let's be honest here. The brainwashing, when I used to hear Jesse talk about brainwashing, I laughed. They got the HARP system. Whenever there's a thunderstorm, lightning actually goes into your brain. Okay, Jesse, that sounds great.
Well, did you hear Jesse Ventura's comment on this?
I did. We have the clip. We'll be playing that a little later in the show. I wasn't going to do a show without having a Jesse make a return. But they're brainwashed, Ben. They're brainwashed.
I'm just waiting for any of them or any liberal to tell me coherently and specifically how importing hundreds of thousands of Somalians has made Minneapolis or America better. I know it's benefited them, so I'm just waiting for someone to tell me how it's been made my life or your life better.
They don't have to tell you how or why or anything, Ben. If you've noticed over the course of the years, they just tell you that it's our greatest strength. Diversity is our greatest strength. The fact that they have brought millions of Somalis over here and plopped them and made them voter blocks and gave them seats of political power, they don't have to tell you why or how that makes our country better. They will just tell you it does, and you best shut up about it or you're a racist. That's it.
Right.
Yeah. All right, Ben. Thank you for the call, my friend. I appreciate it. Ben from D.C. Great place, low crime. There's another thing. Well, let me see. I'll get to Clown of the Week next after the break. Ilhan Omar. Do I have time for that? Yeah. Ilhan Omar was blaming the cop. And numerous politicians have done this. She was on a news show. And listen to her explanation as to who is in the wrong here. The woman driving toward the officer or the officer himself. Let's listen.
If they are saying that he has 10 years on service and is trained, he should know that you shouldn't be trying to get in front of a moving car. And
Yeah. He had training and everything. He should have known not to get in front of a moving car. Even if when she backed up, she turned the car toward him and then stepped on the accelerator going forward. But he should have read her mind and known what direction the car was going to be facing after she backed up, turned the wheel, and pointed it at him. He should have known at that point. Doesn't it suck when you should have known to get out of the way of maybe a bullet? How about that, Ilhan, Omar? How about people that are to blame for their own death when they just don't have the common sense to step out of the way of a bullet? Or that Russian girl on the Chicago, I think it was Chicago. No, I forgot where it was now. Massachusetts. She was stabbed. You know, getting out of the way of a knife coming at you is probably the thing to do. These people should know better. These various projectiles can be dangerous, and it's your fault if you don't get out of the way. Oh, my God. You remember Charlottesville when that guy supposedly ran into a crowd of protesters all over the statue that was being taken down in Charlottesville? This guy's doing 419 years. He was attacked by a group of people, protesters. He stepped on the gas to get away from what might have been certain death if he stuck around, and hit some of the protesters that were in his way when they were attacking him in his vehicle. One woman died. 419 years he got in prison. He was scared. He did step on the accelerator out of fear, not to murder anybody. Unlike Renee Nicole Good, who pointed her car at a law enforcement officer and stepped on the gas. And they're trying to talk about how innocent she was. What about that guy? 419 years. So I think there's precedent for pointing your vehicle at somebody, even though, again, you could claim he was very scared and did that. Because that's what they're saying about Renee. She was petrified, scared of the police, because everyone knows you got to be scared of the police. If there's anything body cameras have taught us, it's not the police you need to be afraid of. All right, back in moments. So much to talk about. Stick around.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
The Anthony Cumia Show. Checking my ex, Tin Andy Wang. Hey, Wang, it's a golf course, all right? Hey, hook 'em up with the whole schmear. Men live in a world where violence is always possible consequence. Women don't. She didn't think she was subject to the rules. This is something, that's a great take, Mr. Tin Andy Wang on X. Great take, because we've tried for some reason to turn women into men and to evolve them into a more man-like mindset, when obviously from the beginning of humankind on this planet, men and women have had two different roles. It has worked out well. This is how it's supposed to be. And for some reason, within, relatively speaking, in the time we've all been here as human beings on this planet, a speck of time, they have decided women are just like men. Physically, put them in the same sport. Psychologically, they think the same. We're all exactly the same. You could do anything you want if you put your mind to it. And what this has done is put women into situations where they are not prepared physically and mentally to deal with those situations. Sorry, it's just the way it is. There are plenty of situations men don't want to be in where their mindset and the way they think and their physical makeup doesn't do well in a female-oriented occupation or surroundings or whatever it might be. But they have brainwashed women so much. Break that glass ceiling. Oh, women should be equal pay for equal work. Women should be in the same jobs as men and this and that. And we've seen, I can't tell you how much proof there is that that is crap. And all it's doing is hurting women and hurting our country, that's for sure. I think America is a country on this planet that is very dependent on men and women having those specific roles. It worked very well during our pioneer time in America. Men did the hard work, the heavy lifting, hunting, working. Women, the home, the kids. It worked well. How short of a period of time did America become a great nation? Because one of the reasons is because there was that male and female role that was so important. And of late, very, very recently, these roles have been, they're trying to reverse them. Beta, soy men, femme men, and these wannabe butch women that think they could go out and do anything a man can do. And like Andy there on X said, men, over the course of thousands and thousands of years, have known what consequence of action is. They know that everything they are involved in could result in violence. I'm talking many years ago, but that hasn't gone away. It's still part of us. And women are now entering these realms, and they don't understand consequence of action being violence, being bodily harm. You ever see these videos where a woman goes up to a guy and starts acting like a man to the guy, yelling at him, calling him all kinds of stuff, and then punches him in the face? And the guy hauls off and belts her, and the crowd around is like, oh, what are you doing? What have you done? Well, that's one of those consequences to being told that you are the same as a guy. That it's not the case. It is not the case, women. Ladies, you gotta, I don't know. There's never a turning back point. There's never going back. I think it'd be very difficult, not impossible, but very difficult to go back to a time where women assume those traditional roles, men assume their traditional roles, and we go back to a system that seemed to work very well for quite some time. But, wow, it's going to take some doing. And there's a force out there that is fighting tooth and nail against that. And again, they use the name calling, and you're misogynistic. I am misogynistic for thinking like this, even though I have hundreds of thousands of years of proof that this system has worked over the course of time and that it's not working right now. How many videos do I have to play of female police officers not being able to do their job? They do not have the physical qualities that it takes to be a police officer, especially in a major city. There's crime. There's guys committing crime. And women are incapable of doing that job, taking down perpetrators, controlling guys stronger than them. They have to resort to deadly physical force much sooner in an altercation than a man would have to. So now you're not only endangering her as a female cop, you're endangering everyone she comes in contact with. If it comes apart at the seams, she's got to resort to deadly physical force sooner than a male officer has to. And how is that benefiting our society? Traditional roles play a big part in what we saw happen with Renee Nicole Good. Women are being sold a false bill of goods. They're brainwashed. It might make them feel good to think that I am just like a guy. I am just as capable in every aspect of my life as a guy would be. And it's a false bill of goods. It is dangerous to you, people around you to think that way, and dangerous to our country to continue. Wendy, Huntington, Long Island. How are you, Wendy?
Yes, I'm doing fine. I'm enjoying your show. So,
thank you.
Yes, you're very funny in a sarcastic kind of way.
I try.
Thank you. I appreciate the entertainment. So, I just want to say it's not only the citizens that have to follow the laws, but you know what? The politicians also have to make sure the laws are followed.
Yeah.
So if you get a political party in that decides that they don't like a law, they're not going to bother enforcing it. So you have to think about how these politicians, how much the liberals really hate their constituents.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to allow ICE to arrest murderers, rapists, pedophiles, drug dealers, and
Right.
they would rather have them live among their citizens. Then they claim at how bad ICE is, yet they don't allow their police officers just to stand on the sidelines to make sure that their crazy protesters, which, by the way, they encourage them to protest and do this. And I think the woman who died was unstable herself. So
I think
her
so.
bio
Obviously.
seems to show.
Yeah.
But think about this. So they don't have the police there to protect the crazy protesters. So what does that say? It says that they want something to happen.
Yeah.
These people are really sick. It's kind of like I think they're getting crazier. It's kind of like they're addicted. It's like they're crack addicts, and you're taking away their reason for being.
Yes.
So when that happens, they act like lunatics.
This
And
is their
you know what you
drug. Yeah, you're right. We've seen it that way. I also want to address something you said at the very beginning of your call there, Wendy. The politicians have to abide by these laws, the legislation that they're responsible for, and the fact that they're not doing that, because they're politicians. Let's say they don't like a certain law. Wouldn't you think they would change it? They're the legislators that have the power to change it, but they need their people to want it changed before they could really go on and change it. That's what the representative government we have is. They know the majority of Americans want the laws adhered to. So instead of trying to change it, they'll just lie and say, this is what the people want, so we're just going to ignore those laws, when they know damn well this is what the people want. They overwhelmingly voted for it the last presidential election.
Yeah, but I think you're also missing a piece. It's not just the legislators, it's the executive branch, it's the president. So we have all these laws on illegal immigrants, but we had a president before Trump came along, and he didn't want to enforce those laws.
No.
So it also comes from that as well.
He didn't only not enforce those laws, he thwarted them. He took them and wiped with them, and then let an unbelievable amount of illegal aliens into this country. So he didn't just ignore the laws. He told people they forced the breaking of those laws.
Yeah, well, let's be clear. He didn't do it.
Oh,
he had
no,
dementia.
whoever it was.
So,
we all know that now. We don't even have to explain it anymore. Whatever puppet regime that was.
Right. And then you bring up another party, and then you have the media, right? So they're all pretending like nothing happening over here. So I think that our only hope is, enter stage right Donald Trump. He's like the last of the old breed that, actually is from that generation of law enforcement that believes in order. I mean, look, he has his what's the word I'm looking for?
Idiosyncrasies.
Yeah, listen, he does. But you know what? I could live with that.
Yeah, I can too. No one's going to be perfect. No one's going to fit the bill for every single person in this country. Go, wow, he's perfect. There's going to be things you don't like, things you do like. But I love what he's doing. And Wendy, I got to move on. Thanks for the call, but because it's going into what I want to talk about or what I want to get to. Of course, Clown of the Week. I want to get to this because I don't know if this guy's ever been Clown of the Week. But it goes right with what Wendy was just talking about as far as Trump supporters go. And, you know, he's not perfect. He says things sometimes makes me cringe. He does things sometimes makes me cringe. But overall, and that's what you're looking for in a president, I like what he's doing. I like this tough, no-holds-barred attitude. And this is where the Clown of the Week comes in. This guy... well, let's listen to what he says. This is the Clown of the Week.
The Anthony Cumia Show presents the Clown of the Week.
Well, the Clown of the Week this week is Moby. Moby is from the 90s. You might remember Moby. I don't know. I guess everyone listening here remembers Moby. But some of the younger folk might not know who the hell Moby is. A shaved head. He was... kind of a 90s music icon, and now not so much. So Moby has his take on what Trump supporters need to do. What, like us, me. Moby's telling me what I need to do. Thank you, Moby. Let's listen.
For the people who voted for Trump or have supported Trump, can you finally just admit you were wrong? Trump has spent his entire life bankrupting businesses, and now, surprise, surprise, he's bankrupting the United States. So look, we can move on, but if you supported Trump or voted for him, just please, finally, now, just admit you were wrong.
Oh, okay, Moby. If you say so, Moby. Never has the term Moby Dick meant more than when we hear Moby talking. Trump supporters need to admit they were wrong. How do they get this impression that we have any regrets about our vote for Donald J. Trump? They have their ridiculous, insane liberal take on what's going on in this country. And they're so narcissistic in their liberal thinking that they assume everyone must think just like them. So when they look at what's going on with ICE, deporting illegal aliens from this country, something that Trump ran on, his campaign was, I will get into office, I will get federal law enforcement, ICE, Border Patrol to throw out these illegals that the Biden administration let cross the border in ridiculous numbers. We voted for that. It's happening. And somehow liberals like Moby look at it with such disdain. They can't stand what's going on. They believe the news that they're ripping those young children out of mom's hands and breaking up families. So they look at it and they think about what it makes them feel like. Again, the feels. And they honestly think, well, everyone must think like me, right? I am the most rational person on the face of the earth. For God's sake, I'm Moby. And then they go, just please admit you were wrong. Without any thought that we are going, yeah, I love this. More. Kick more of them out. That's your liberal mindset. That's the narcissistic, delusional bubble. They live in a bubble. You think Moby is really speaking with the majority of Americans? By the way, majority that voted for Trump, majority electoral college. Not one swing state went to Kamala Harris. Do you think Moby has any communication with them? And listening to those people saying, hey, this is awesome. My candidate made campaign promises, and now I'm getting to watch, during his presidency, I'm getting to watch him actually follow through. Not as quickly as I would like. I mean, I think we would all like to see this mass exodus of illegals happen a lot faster. We need these deportations to be tenfold of what they are now. But at least he's doing what he said he was going to do during the campaign. And we love it. Trump supporters, every one of them I've talked to, they love it. But your Mobies, your Babs Streisands, so many other of the brave actors and musicians that come out and say that they're against this. They honestly believe that we as Trump supporters regret our vote. This is how unbelievably stupid they are and delusional. Well, that's your clown of the week, Moby. And we're going to take a break. We'll be right back.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Every week, the Payne family cuts straight to the real financial story.
The one question, Bob, everyone's asking is, are we in an artificial intelligence bubble? You've been through boom and bust. What do you think?
No hype, no myths. Just what actually matters to your money.
Does feel very similar to what we experienced in the 90s. Where are we, though? Are we in 1995, 1997, 1999?
Listen to the Pain Points of Wealth on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
The Anthony Cumia Show. Welcome to the program. And a lot of people, wow. We actually went to a sixth phone line. Oh, my goodness. This is crazy. Scott, Florida, what's up?
Hey, Anthony. How are you doing this evening?
Great. How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing really well. I think a lot of these protesters, I think they're emboldened from years of being handled with kid gloves by these Seattle, Minneapolis, L.A. police departments that allowed them to get away with all kinds of crap. That they call protesting.
Great
and now
point,
they feel
man.
emboldened where they can interfere with police and law enforcement, and there shouldn't be any consequences. It's ridiculous.
Imagine that, man. Yeah, great point. You've watched for years protesters go out there and not just protest, but commit vandalism, arson, violence, everything I said earlier. And you saw them do this with impunity. And now you see something, you think it'll be fun and exciting, and you'll make some new dopey friends. So you want to go out there, you want to protest, and now you're getting your ass handed to you, if not shot. That's got to be a big disappointment. Like, oh, I missed the good times where we could just go up to cops' faces. Remember that? They would stand online with the shields and their riot gear on, and the cops weren't allowed to do anything. And they could walk right up to them, yell at them, spit at them, and nothing happened. And now they're getting thrown to the ground. They're getting cuffed and dragged away. And this is preventing, by the way, I think this is preventing the giant crowds that we used to see at these protests. Because some people, even liberals, might look and go, it ain't worth getting shot over.
Well, and it's because we finally have a president and administration that respects law and order. And I tell you what, I know you, just like me, I watch those videos and I gobble it up like birthday cake. It's delicious. I love watching it.
It really is.
One last thing. I'll leave it on a good note. How come nobody's talking about the fact that the Dow is flirting with 50,000 points?
Is that
and the economy is just
insane,
rolling like out of crazy. It's unbelievable.
It really is. I mean, and they're trying, again, they're lying about the Trump economy. You know, inflation numbers are way down. I mean, and compared to the Biden years and the Dow, yeah, businesses are doing good. People are buying things. This isn't, we're not in this financial crisis. People aren't talking about recession and a prospective depression. Remember during the Biden years, you were hearing the word recession. You were hearing potential depression. And now they want to keep saying it. I see politicians on all these talking head news shows. Oh, the economy. Trump promised to bring prices down and this and that. He hasn't. Where? Where hasn't he? They just have lies. They just have lies, Scott. That's all they got left. Thanks, man. Appreciate the call. Yeah, they just have lies. Adam Schiff, Shifty Schiff, he's talking about the woman, Renee Nicole Good, and here's his take on what she was doing before she was murdered in cold blood by ICE. Here's Adam Schiff. I guess that's the video playing. Or is that Adam Schiff talking? Yeah. This is odd. Did I put the wrong clip up there? It's just a horn honking. Yeah, Adam said that he's the one that said she was just dropping her kids off at school and coming around. She happened to be in the traffic where this protest was going on. AC-10, is that the sound clip? Oh, okay. I got you. It happens. Yeah, Adam Schiff, along with a lot of other politicians. Like I said, all they have are lies. There's no way they can actually speak the truth and adhere to their agenda and their nonsense that they want the American people to know. You got that? No? Adam Schiff? All right. Maybe try that one. No? Okay. We don't have to. We don't have to play that. I don't know what it was, just horns honking. Did you find it? No? Oh, you got it. Okay. See if we got enough time. Sorry, folks. Sorry. Sorry about the... we are experiencing technical difficulties. Please stand by.
Not involved in protests. 37-year-old woman drops her kid off at school. Not involved in protest activity or anything. Seems to be in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Can you believe that? Dropping her kids off, not involved in the protest, seems to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. Her wife was recording the cops outside the vehicle, taunting them. She was taunting them. She was taunting the police officers that were being blocked by her car. She was there for the express purpose of protesting, blocking the roads. This is what they do. Why else, Adam Schiff, would she have her car diagonal in the middle of the street? That is the whole thing they're doing now. That's their tactic, to block the ICE vehicles, beep horns, blow whistles, so they cannot do their job. But again, they just lie. They just lie. Crockett did the same thing. She lied about some nonsense that she was making a 3-point turn. They have nothing else but lies. Back in moments. Stick around.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
That it is, the Anthony Cumia Show. And, boy, a lot of people want to comment on what we've been talking about that first hour. Of course, the Renee Good shooting. Isn't that weird when you say it like that? Renee Good shooting. Now, Renee Good shooting? I'm not sure. We'll see what investigators have to say about the shooting itself. Matt, Bronx. What's up, Matt?
Hey, how are you, Anthony? So pretty much with regard to the Minnesota shooting, I wanted to point out a few things. Well, first of all, so pretty much the left is going to use this woman's death as a martyrdom.
Oh yeah,
for the left
already.
And again, it's uncalled for because again she inserted herself into a situation where she put herself in danger, again for impeding the process of removing illegal aliens from the United States.
That's
why
simple.
the left. Now, you said that she was responsible for her death. I disagree. The people responsible for her death are the leftist ideologues in the media, in the academy, in the universities, and in public office. People like Tim Walz and the mayor of Minneapolis, who have championed illegal aliens who've crossed our border, broken our laws, and once they're here, they're not even grateful to be here. They see American taxpayers, white taxpayers, as sheep and people that you can milk. Take their taxes.
But they're
them
heroes,
off to Somalia.
Matt. They're heroes. Then they're our greatest strength. They're amazing people that we should bow down to.
Exactly. And again, these are the people that the left want to worship. And again, they should be championing the homeless veterans that are sleeping on the streets of Minneapolis and Seattle and Los Angeles that are not benefiting from taxpayer largesse. What about them? They're American citizens who fought for this country. And again, they're sleeping outdoors in the middle of the winter.
Could you imagine, Matt, could you possibly imagine the good that can be done with the money that is wasted on illegals and these Somali fraud schemes that are going on and these liberal programs that never amount to anything but cost billions of taxpayer dollars? Every veteran that is either homeless or has been injured and has a problem paying their bills, buying a house for their family, they could live in palatial mansions. And everyone in this country could be taken care of. But there's this delusion that we have to take care of third world savages that come here with nothing but hate in their heart for us and the country, and carve out little places that exactly resemble the crap holes they came from. And that's where their loyalty lies, not in America.
Yeah, there's no assimilation. They want to replicate the same third world chaos and disease and disorder that they're running from.
Yep.
They want to replicate it here. Now, before I go, I really want to reiterate that, in order to understand how to solve a problem, you have to understand how you got into that problem in the first place.
Right.
And with regard to the immigration mess, I can't recommend it enough. The Culture of Critique by Dr. Kevin McDonald.
Of course. You always do, Matt, and thank you so much. Matt always plugs the book, but he's got a good take on a lot of things that are going on. And with that one, yeah, why? Why are the liberals defending illegals, criminals? And the news, like I was just saying here, I just saw this during the break when I was scrolling. It's a big story because David Letterman was also involved in this thing. But let me see. Here it is. Nikki Glaser. Of course, Nikki Glaser, comic actress, whatever she is. She's on the Golden Globes. The Golden Globes are happening right now. And CBS News What they have decided to do is not, at least the boss has, not be a propaganda tool for the left. Now, I don't know how successful they're going to be at this. I don't even know if that's really the case. But the liberals say it is. Maybe CBS and its management has backed off a little from the whole liberal throw out whatever the company line is with the left. Maybe they've just backed off a little. But as Hollywood sees it and as Washington, D.C. sees it, they have abandoned truth. And that's, they're crazy. They've lost their minds over at CBS. Why? Because they're not doing business as usual, mainstream media lying to everybody in order to keep that left-wing agenda front and center. So here's what Nikki Glaser said on the Golden Globes just a few minutes ago. I got it.
And the award for most editing goes to CBS News. Yes. CBS News, America's newest place to see BS News.
Get it? CBS News. This is what we're talking about. The propaganda, the lies. The reason so many of these, I got to say it, weak-minded people. Liberals they're weak-minded. They're so easily influenced, so easily brainwashed. I mean, how could anyone watch what mainstream media has been for a couple of decades now, honestly? Really, they picked up steam with the propaganda in the last dozen years or so, maybe even a little longer. But a couple of decades, I mean, it's been so blatantly obvious. I feel bad for anyone that doesn't see it, that hasn't seen it, that still watches mainstream media news and thinks it's honest, truthful news that you're getting from unbiased journalists. This isn't what it is. This isn't what's happening. And since CBS has gotten themselves a new brass, new bosses over there, they've decided that they're just not going to blindly play what they're supposed to, what the Democrats and liberals tell them to broadcast. They're going to be a little more unbiased and try to be a little more honest with their news. Well, that's unheard of. That's something that they see as being crazy and against what the news and what journalism is supposed to be. Here's David Letterman. David Letterman, who just turned into an old sea captain. He turned into an old sea captain. He's got the big beard. And I always knew this guy was liberal, but I thought maybe he had some sense, some ability to look at things and not be so influenced by an agenda. But here's David Letterman talking about CBS News.
What about those idiots at CBS? The CBS News is a wreck.
Boy,
it's just gone. Mm-hmm. CBS News for decades, going back to World War II, before World War II, they would be, Ed Murrow would be broadcasting the Blitz of London from the rooftop of buildings in London for CBS Radio. And it was that mentality that drove the integrity of CBS News that has been trampled on, pissed on, and eviscerated by these idiots that have taken it over. Yep. And I'm at a point now where it really is hurting my feelings because I'm sick and tired of people saying, oh, wait till those midterms. Kids, we're far downstream of the midterms having any effect on this.
Yeah. Are we? Listen how he talks about the old school Edward R. Murrow and how CBS News camera and microphone would be in a war zone, World War II, all the wars. after World War II. CBS News was there to bring you the story. And Dave is trying to say that that CBS being under pretty much new management as far as the bosses go is different than when they were the news organization that brought you the stories from the battlefield and did all these incredible investigative reports over the course of the years. 60 Minutes was very cutting edge and a great show. #1 in the ratings forever back in the day, as they call it. And now, because they're not just a tool of the left, or I don't even know yet. I'm not saying they're not still a tool for the left. But this perception that they're not just going to print and broadcast everything that the left wants them to has now made them some kind of an illegitimate news agency, Dave. There's a lot that happened between Edward R. Murrow in World War II and where we are now. And if you don't think CBS was responsible for a lot of the mis and disinformation that was going out to the American people, brainwashing these simple-minded people into this liberal ideology, if you don't think that was going on, and that if someone is in there now that wants to kind of change that, and if you see that as a bad thing, Dave, we got no use for you. We got no use for David Letterman if that's how he sees things. Because I see it in a different way. Maybe, just maybe, the mainstream media organizations have realized that people know they're full of crap, and they better get their news organizations in line and not just crow for the left. Because no one's watching mainstream media anymore for the news. It ain't happening. Social media is where people get their news because there is such a distrust in mainstream media and a distrust that they earned by being what they turned into from the time Edward R. Murrow was broadcasting from a building during World War II. All right, we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Well, the Anthony Cumia Show, you know, over the course of the years I have been on the internet, the one thing you usually don't get when you're communicating with people watching or listening to you is a dissenting opinion. You don't really get people that don't agree with you. The great thing about radio that I've always missed ever since our old WNEW days was people calling in that don't agree with you. Julius from Jersey, what's up, my friend?
What's up, Anthony? What's up? A little fan of yours for at least 28 years. So
thank you.
Since back in the NEW days. I just want to say the guy who shot the woman is a pussy. If he was so scared, why did he have a camera with one hand? He kept on walking to her. The wheels were not facing him. He was in no way in danger. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
I know these type of guys. He was a trigger happy. He's a trigger happy jackass.
Trigger happy.
I met them in
jackass.
the army. I met them outside of the army.
Julius, you do understand that there are certain criteria for a law enforcement officer to defend himself and his partners that are out there and citizens, and that this may have, I'm not even saying it is, I'm just saying there will be an investigation, but you don't think this may have fallen under that criteria that she was indeed
because the video
driving her
shows
car
the guy
into
was not
him?
in danger.
How do you know
the video
this?
that he taped himself. He taped it himself. The
Yeah,
one that J.D. Vance was like will say this will exonerate him. It doesn't exonerate him one bit.
Just because
it
he
just
was
makes
holding
him look more like an ass looking for it to do.
Well, you got to watch your language, Julius. We are
I'm
not
sorry.
allowed. There are 7 words. If you might review a George Carlin album,
S word on radio
that we cannot use here. But I would appreciate you keep the
All right,
potty
sorry about
mouth
that.
to a minimum. Yeah, I don't think so. I don't know. Like I said, I do not know. From the video I saw and from the precedent that has been set from previous videos that I've seen that have exonerated the cop, this does look like something that this guy will not have to go to court.
Well, yeah, because
and
the
fight
FBI
for
are
his
not
life.
going to go after him with this administration. Well, now the state could go after him.
Of course, the state could go after him. He's not in a friendly state as far as law enforcement goes. Look at what happened with the George Floyd thing. You think he got off easy because he's
with the
a
George
cop?
Floyd thing? I'm willing to put $1,000 on anyone who wants to make this into this bet. I put my knee on their neck while they're laying in concrete, and let's see how they react.
Well, they probably wouldn't like it
for
but
9 minutes.
I don't think. I don't even want to get into that whole thing. But from what I've read in the coroner's report, there was no pressure on the guy's neck. He had his knee over his neck, so he couldn't get up. Where was
when we were in the military? We were taught like how it's easy to cause someone to die with like just it's very easy to like suffocate someone.
Yeah,
I'm just going to go there.
But everything the coroner wrote, there was nothing wrong with George Floyd's neck as far as his knee being on it. What the cops were trained to do, and I let me get this out. What the cops were trained to do was put the knee on the neck, not pressure, not leaning on it, but put the knee on the neck, because if you can't lift your head up, you can't get your body up. That's how it works. So you're not squishing his neck, but you're keeping your knee on his neck so he cannot move his head to get up, because that's what this guy was trying to do. So if you want to say he died in custody with a knee on his neck, well, you got to look a little deeper. The guy was on drugs. He had OD'd on fentanyl, and there was no justification to have Derek Chauvin be put in prison for the length of time he was put in prison. That is what will happen to this cop if he's allowed to be railroaded in Minnesota for the murder of Renee Good. Thank you. Well, he didn't answer quick enough. I cut him off. But I let him talk, and that's what this show's about. I like having conversations with people that want to call in, but I don't see it that way. People have to take accountability and responsibility for their actions. There's not always some excuse as to why some person got in trouble, lost their kids, lost their wife, lost their life. There's not always some other reason. Sometimes that person did something that resulted in something terrible. That's what Renee Good did. Something dumb that resulted in something terrible. She should have went home to her kid. I hear she had custody of one kid. The other two were with the father, but that's inconsequential. I just, how do you not put any responsibility on this woman? Oh, the car wasn't pointed. He wasn't scared. How the hell could anyone know what that cop was thinking at that moment? Oh, he was holding his phone and recording. Yeah, he didn't expect her to try to run him over when he came over to record the license plate, her face. That's it. You can't depend that you're going to be facing your body camera at everything you want to record. They want video of these people. Yes. They're trying to interfere with the cops' jobs. And if something happens later in the day, and then they could go, oh, yeah, that was this woman. I have a video of her. And just because he didn't drop his iPhone means that's the litmus test for having someone attempting to run you over. And as I said before, a huge part of this, and I guarantee you, if this goes any further legally, if this goes any further, and this guy, poor bastard, I hope not that he's got to have his life destroyed in a courtroom defending his freedom. I hope that doesn't happen. If it does, you will absolutely see that the defense will bring up that my partner was holding on to the door of that vehicle. I didn't know if she was holding his wrist. I didn't know if he had gotten caught up in the door. I'm certain he was trying to stop the car from running, and I was protecting him too. So regardless if you think that this officer thought his life was in danger, there's also his partner's life. Watch the video. Watch the video. All right, kids. Be back in a moment. A lot more, your calls and everything. Stick around.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
The Anthony Cumia Show. And my Uncle Tony here brought up a great point. You know, the police have some culpability in this. Not the wonderful band from the 80s, but the actual county and state police in Minnesota. Where are they? There needs to be a police presence to take care of the crowds, to control the protesters and crowds. ICE shouldn't have to do crowd control, riot control, and their job of rounding up illegals. The police should have been clearing the streets, handling people like Renee Good. Get out of here. Turn that car around. You're being arrested. Your car's being towed. You know, the police in that area should have been doing it, not federal ICE agents. So, again, there's another good point about why this had happened. How the hell does that happen? Where are the cops? Where the hell are the cops? When do we get to here? There's, God, I got so much now. I actually was yapping for so long. I ran right over some stories that I had scheduled for a couple of other breaks. But here's this Philly sheriff. This is the head muckety-muck in Philadelphia as far as the sheriff's department goes. And she, of course, seems to me to look like a DEI hire. This looks like textbook diversity, equity, and inclusion is the reason this woman has a job. General stars on her neck, on her collar, like Patton. And here is her take on the Minnesota shooting. I don't know why the Philly sheriff is commenting. I think a lot of the sanctuary city law enforcement is commenting on this because they want to say, hey, you don't you come here. We have our police force. And I love this whole thing that they're telling their officers to arrest ICE agents and Border Patrol. I'd love to see that, by the way. I would really love to see a police department that arrests federal agents. I don't think it happens, but listen to this, because if this doesn't reek of diversity, equity, and inclusion, I don't know what does. Here's your Philadelphia sheriff's chief. Let's listen. Yay.
Good afternoon. I'm Rochelle Bilal, the sheriff for the city and county of Philadelphia. And I say her name, Renee Good. Renee Good. Renee Good. Renee Good. Renee Good.
Renee Good.
This should not have happened.
Zombies.
But we're here today. Let know that law enforcement professionals, real ones, not the fake made up ICE, probably sent a new army to attack citizens of the United States. Did you hear what I said?
Yes.
No law enforcement professional wears a mask. None. None. Those that come into our communities wearing a mask to commit crime, thank God for our district attorney, Larry Krasner, who say he's going to lock them up. And I'm saying now, we are not going to whisk you away for them to hide your identity, because when you do it there, you're getting arrested there.
What?
No whisk away.
English.
For them to hide.
Do you speak it?
None of that here. None of that here. Law enforcement professionals do not shoot at moving vehicles.
What?
I'm not saying fleeing, because she wasn't fleeing. She was getting out of the way.
Oh. Over
Law
the
enforcement
officer.
professionals do not stand in front of moving vehicles invoking an action that is illegal. No, we don't. And so we stand here today with all those who stand against the made-up, fake, what you can call ICE, professional law enforcement. I don't call them none of that. I call them made-up, fake, wannabe law enforcement.
Well.
Because what they do is against not only legal law, but the moral law.
Ah, moral.
So I'm with the DA, and we will work with them. If any of them want to come in this city and commit a crime, you will not be able to hide. Nobody will whisk you off. You don't want this smoke. Because we will bring it
your lingo.
to you.
Smoke.
And the fake, whatever.
Don't use your ghetto lingo. You're
I can't say the name.
The head of a
but
law
the
enforcement
criminal
agency.
in the White House would not be able to keep you from going to jail.
Yeah,
Renee Good should be here today. And to her family, we are saying law enforcement professionals are not the ones here in this city that would do that.
Oh, God. Oh, my God. It's just, it is exhausting. Don't bring that smoke. Oh, really? Do we really need law enforcement brass? This woman has, I swear, stars, brass stars on both of her collars, 4 on each side. Like she's some kind of a general. And she says they're not real law enforcement. Well, that's news to a lot of people. I think ICE and Border Patrol are real law enforcement. They're enforcing the law. They're enforcing the laws of this country that Donald Trump, as president, has instructed them to do, as the American people had voted in Donald Trump so he could tell them to do their job and get rid of the illegals that the Biden administration let in insane numbers. Not real law enforcement. She's never known a law enforcement agency to wear masks. Have you ever seen one of these drug busts happen or other kind of undercover operations when officers are with the DEA perhaps and they go in to make busts and they're wearing masks? Do you know why they do that, dummy? Because the people that they are going after, investigating, arresting, will kill them. Drug cartels. They need to hide their face because the people they are arresting and investigating, if they see their face, they will kill them and their families. Well, guess what the liberals have brought to the United States of America? That same thing. You're right. Years ago, police officers wouldn't have had to wear masks when they're doing their job. Because again, we live in a society where people know the rules. Some people go against those rules and need to be arrested. But there wasn't this, even the mafia wasn't like, oh, I got arrested by this cop, let me kill him and his family. These liberal maniac mental patients will dox the hell out of these cops. Put every bit of information about them and their family online. And they don't necessarily have to be the murderers. They don't have to be the arsonists that'll light these officers' houses on fire. They just have to put their names and addresses and their families' names out there. And the mental patients will do the rest. Just like they've done with school shootings, with assassination attempts, with shooting up churches, whatever it is. Just put the name out there, and they know damn well that there are lunatics out there that will grab that name and perpetrate violence and harm on those officers and their families. Guaranteed. So you're right. It shouldn't have to be that way. It didn't used to have to be that way. But now, yeah, they have to wear masks for their own safety and the safety of their families. This isn't some roving band of wannabe cops wearing masks to intimidate people. They're saving their own lives and the lives of their family because liberals are nuts and they will kill them. You get it? Do you get it now? Coming to their area in Philly to commit crimes? You gotta be kidding, right, lady? If that's what you are, indeed. You gotta be kidding. Have you seen Philly? There's a reason it's called Philadelphia. Because you're not doing your job. Because you're a DEI hire. A big, fat, dumb woman that doesn't know what the hell law enforcement is. How many meetings must she take every day about diversity and the community? And we got to make sure we don't upset this and respect the community. All that nonsense. And all it's done is given the community the brazen opportunity to yell horrible things at these police officers every day. The cops have to live and work in an area where they are threatened every day. Yelled at, horrible names that they're calling them and their families, because you don't want to actually fight crime. More excuses for the community. And then when cops have to wear masks to protect their own lives and the lives of their family, they're the bad guys because you've whipped up these mental patients into a frenzy and convince them that they're the bad guys. The cops are the bad guys. Oh, my God, it's disgusting. It's disgusting. Here's Rob. Rob, where are you from? Secaucus. What's up, Rob?
That's right, Anthony. This is Rob from Secaucus. You can find me on X under that. And so I overheard you guys talking before about, and let me tell you, you really hit it on the head with the left. You got these people pegged. It's crazy. I mean, but at any rate, I don't even believe they deserve the recognition of being considered having a lot of feelings right? Because that's what they wipe their you know what with. They we have feelings with you, feelings with you. Yeah, and the evidence is every time that they're called upon to try to help one of those individuals, if they get people across the border from a South American country, say bring them into your house. Oh no, they have every excuse under the sun. They're all full of crap, and they just love, but they do love the idea of glomming on to the social justice warrior narrative.
Yeah.
You know, it's a cheap way to try and gain some credibility on something that they know nothing about. And this woman in the car, she's a picture perfect example.
Oh yeah,
of the left, what the brainwash has done to the. You know, I tell you, it never ceases to amaze me. It's like a science project watching the humanoids get brainwashed. It's like, what the hell? What kind of parents did they have that raised them to be so malleable to a brainwash of such?
Yeah, they've constructed an entire generation, an entire segment of society that are weak. They're weak-minded, easily influenced, and they have this. There's all kinds of bad emotions running in them: jealousy, envy. Like you said, they don't want to take in these people. They would never take in an illegal and make sure he eats and has a roof over his head. But they want the people they despise, the people they're envious of, and the people that don't want these people in the country. That's who they want taking care of the illegal immigrants. So it doesn't have so much to do, is that illegal being cared for? They want to burden the people that they hate with those illegal aliens.
Well, we do a podcast about this, two podcasts per night, Monday through Friday, with America's Mayor Live, Rudy Giuliani.
Rudy Giuliani, love him.
Yeah.
You used to be a caller on his show, from what I hear.
That's correct. Yeah, so I thought maybe you might have even overheard some of them at the time, you know. But now I work with him on his both Mike Lindell TV. He does the Rudy Giuliani show, and then he also does America's Mayor Live on all the major social media platforms. And I'll monitor the show. I monitor the show remotely, make sure our audio and our video is always good. And then I'm getting on a plane periodically to go down to Palm Beach because, you know, he had to get the hell out of New York.
I know. We all did, Rob. I'm in South Carolina. We all did. But thanks, man. And hey, tell Rudy I said hi. He knows who the hell I am. But thank you, man. Thank you for the call. Yeah, you know, weak-minded people. They have to operate in a cluster. They independently. You've seen them. You've seen whenever anybody walks up to them in a group of their protests or whatever you want to call it, they're incapable of speaking. They can't answer any questions. They can't make it seem like they even know why they're standing there. They need to be part of a collective, like the Borg in Star Trek or something. They have no idea how to be independent. That's why the chant thing is so big with them. Whose streets? Our streets. They just need someone to give them the words to say. Who's we're Nazis. You're all Nazis. Nazi, like zombies. They just yell the same thing because they're incapable of independent thought. If they were able to reason out things and read on their own, independent thought, rationalize something, work it out in their own heads, maybe they wouldn't be where they are now and be these imbeciles. But they're a collective. That doesn't work. If you are without an independent mind and thought process, you are in bad shape, man. And that's what it is. They don't understand. And they've been working with the same playbook forever. Oh, we'll get out in the streets and we'll hold up signs and we'll yell the same thing. And of late, you know, the past couple of decades, they've been able to commit crimes without any consequence. I don't think there's one rioter from the George Floyd debacles that actually spent any significant time in jail. The ones that were arrested were immediately let out or bailed out with money that Hollywood celebrities solicited for, and then they never had to pay any consequences. Oh, charges were dropped. Oh, what did they do? Burn a building? Who cares? And that's who we're dealing with now. And then the slightest pushback by law enforcement, and all of a sudden they're Nazis murdering people. Sorry. Maybe it's not so much that someone was killed at this protest as much as it is someone probably should have been killed during the George Floyd protests. And they were just let alone to their own devices to commit some pretty heinous crimes, murder included. All right, more of your calls, more stories, more fun with the Anthony Cumia Show next.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
The Anthony Cumia Show. Thank you for your support. And here's this is the great governor of Minnesota, Tim Walz. Tim Walz, in between last week's show and this week's show, I'm sure you've probably seen it. You've definitely heard about it. He's dropping out of the gubernatorial race. I never understood why they didn't call it the gubernatorial race. Like governor, what? Goob, like goober. It's the gubernatorial race. Anywho, that's my problem to deal with. But he's dropping out of the race. He had his reasons. I guess he feels he's being persecuted by the Trump administration. He also thinks that Minnesota doesn't need the distraction during the election, and that he is going to have to defend himself against these, that he is involved in some way with this fraud that's going on, running rampant in the Somali community. The Somalis that have donated to his campaign and voted for him. But, of course, he's innocent as all hell. Well, here he was last week talking about why he is dropping out of the governor's race, and he had to he was throwing everything at the wall. Trump, January 6th, blah, just losing his mind, trying to say he's not going to run again, but it's not the fraud, it's everything else. Always with the excuses. Here's Tim Walz.
Governor, what decision to end your campaign by yourself, or did you receive pressure from Democratic allies?
This is a decision that I make and make with my family, and certainly I think, as I said, it's the right decision. I'll note, I think it's appropriate we're here today. The war that's being waged against Minnesota, you're seeing it. We have a ridiculous surge of apparently 2,000 people not coordinating with us that are for a show of the cameras. I'm going to note to all of you, today is January 6th. There's no debate what happened. The President of the United States led an insurrection against a fair election to try and overturn that and, report both sides of this. Well, he said he really didn't, and courts convicted 400 of them, and he pardoned them. No, he did that. He did that, and that's today. And it's clear that we also saw today he implemented 5 states are being punished with a freezing of federal funds illegally that were appropriated by Congress, our tax dollars.
Freezing of funds. Yeah, funds that are running through Somalis and going out to Somalia. And to you crooks as campaign funds and kickbacks. Can you believe that? 2,000, he's complaining that 2,000 ICE agents and other Border Patrol law enforcement are working in Minnesota to gather up illegals and deport them, and they're not working with us. Did you hear he said that? They're not coordinating with us, meaning Tim Walz, other politicians, Minnesota state and local law enforcement. Why the hell would they coordinate with people who have said they will not cooperate or work with ICE and the Border Patrol? Oh, hey, we're going to hit this building because we know there's a lot of illegals in there. We're going to do that tomorrow morning. We just want to let you know. And then they pull up and it's like, hey, what happened? Everyone's gone. What a surprise. Why work with rats? You're a rat, Tim Walz. Your police departments, while I'm sure the rank and file are just trying to do their job and get their pensions, the brass are rats. They tell their officers not to do their jobs. That's why people are being shot by ICE and Border Patrol, perhaps, because you've told your officers not to interfere with the protesters who are interfering with law enforcement. More blood on their hands. Here's my take, people. Tim Walz, who has said, when asked if he will resign before his term is over, he said, over my dead body. This was a statement he made last week. I am going on record right now, and I want you to remember, and I want you to call me or contact me on X when this does happen. Not if, when it does happen. I am saying right now, Tim Walz will resign his office. He will resign. He will be pressured to do it. There's no way they want someone embroiled in a fraud scheme that is above and beyond anything we've ever seen. And we haven't even seen all of it yet. And he's going to be the face of the governor, the Democrat governor of Minnesota, right up until people have to pull the lever for a new governor? You think they're going to allow that? As the allegations just get worse and perhaps an indictment? Whatever it is, they certainly don't want him as the face of the incumbent governor when they're going to try to run a new Democrat. And some Republican is going to come in and go, yeah, this guy's a crook. They're going to want to put Tim Walz so far on the back burner that people forget. And they're going to want to start pumping a new, brandy new candidate for governor, Democrat candidate. So I guarantee Tim Walz will resign as governor of Minnesota. All right, back in a flash. Stick around.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Yes, it is. Anthony Cumia Show. And I was just scrolling through X and a lot of Golden Globes awards posts. I've talked enough about award shows, but I reiterate, they are the dinosaur of entertainment on television, and they are going the way of the 70s variety show. Just done. No one cares. No one wants to watch these Hollywood hypocrites and degenerates patting each other on the back, handing each other these gaudy gold statues to remind everyone how wonderful and fantastic they are. And then they get up to the podium and just spew this vile leftist commie nonsense. The Golden Globes, indeed. All right, more importantly, bathrooms. Yes, more important than the Golden Globes. Where the hell am I going to drop one? Well, in New York City, thank God for Zoran Mamdani, because you used to have to actually be a contributing member of society to be able to use a bathroom. By the way, that isn't true. You could be a degenerate piece of crap. and still use a bathroom, but you might have to walk an extra block. You might not be able to go into any establishment and muck up their toilet with your drug addict digestive system. But Zoran Memdani's going to fix all that for you. All of it. He wants to put public bathrooms at various locations in New York City. I don't know what these will look like. I can imagine what they'll smell like. But he thinks New York City needs bathrooms, public bathrooms. Let's listen. Let's listen to Zoran.
It is a feeling that we all know too well.
A gurgle in the
city,
stomach.
The sun is out. Maybe you're running an errand, spending a weekend afternoon with friends, or just going for a walk. And then suddenly you feel it. You have to go to the bathroom. In a city that has everything, the one thing that is often impossible to find is a public bathroom. In the greatest city in the world, you should not have to spend $9 to buy a coffee just to be able to find a little relief.
Right.
And I've spoken about my desire to make our city more affordable so that dignity no longer feels so remote and inaccessible to New Yorkers. I seek to improve our public infrastructure with a similar goal so that people can feel free to travel throughout and live within this city safely, joyfully, and without anxiety no matter how much money they earn. And since I took office, we have already achieved significant progress in that purpose. We fixed the Williamsburg Bridge bump that has been the cause of so many bicycle mishaps. We pledged to complete the McGinnis Boulevard redesign in the complete fashion that was initially promised, improving the lives of countless Greenpointers. And today, we are making another great stride in the enduring work of improving our public realm. I'm so proud to be here in West Harlem alongside Speaker Menon, Council Member Abreu, Assembly Member Jordan Wright, as we announce this new pilot program to majorly scale up the number of public restrooms in our city. We are announcing the launch of a new program to expand access to public bathrooms across the 5 boroughs, committing $4 million to a request for proposals for high-quality, modular public restrooms.
Oh, modular.
Right now, there are nearly 1,000 public restrooms in New York City. That is one public bathroom for 8,500 residents. Why aren't there more restrooms in our city? Well, there's a lot of infrastructure underneath our feet. And instead, toilets mean finding places to go. Installing them means finding sewer lines and water hookups.
Oh,
this pilot, however, will allow us to install public bathrooms even where we cannot drill into the bowels of the city. We are also here today to celebrate more immediate public relief. I stand here alongside Speaker Menon as we take the final steps to install an automatic public toilet right here on this very site.
Why don't you just open up Gracie Mansion? Let people go in there. Oh, modular. I guess you could put him anywhere. Is it just a portable Porto-San like they put on job sites? Is that it? Is it just a portable toilet? I'm certain these things will cost millions upon millions of dollars. And here's what you're going to get, New York. These modular shooting galleries where people can go in and shoot up drugs, and gay sex rooms. You will have gay sex. What is that? What do they call it? Gay sex. You'll have gay sex going on in these things and drugs. I don't know many people in New York. You know, most people in New York have a place to go in order to go. Most people that are in New York are there working on business, so they have a workplace. They're going to lunch or dinner. They have a restaurant. They're tourists, so they have a hotel. And then if they're out of the hotel, they're going somewhere that they're paying to get in. So who are these bathrooms really for? I'll tell you, because I've seen who these bathrooms will be for. And I will let you know about a little place called Penn Station. Penn Station, Pennsylvania Station. Huntington, all aboard. Penn Station has public bathrooms. And there was one time I needed to go really bad, and I figured I would use the public bathroom at Penn Station. I walked in, and the smell was so overwhelming at first. But look, I'm a guy, been around for a while. I understand men's rooms aren't going to be like opening a fresh bottle of high karate. So the stalls were lining one of the walls, and underneath the doors of the stalls, all you saw were bags, like paper bags, some kind of probably stolen carry bags, luggage, and they were all beat up. And then you'd see feet that looked like they were off of some alien or Bigfoot or an elephant. And you just hear moaning or snoring. The homeless use public bathrooms to sleep, to eat, to shoot drugs, smoke, whatever they're doing. That's who's using public bathrooms when they can't afford to go into an establishment that has a bathroom in it. Most people, if they have a couple of bucks, there are so many bars in New York. You go in, if you don't drink alcohol, you order a soda. Hey, can I have a Coke? And then they give it to you. You go to the bathroom. Then you come back, you pay for your soda or beer, whatever it is. And then, you've utilized their bathroom. You've paid the price. And that's that. Most people, unless they are destitute, mentally ill, homeless, drug addicts, they could figure out where they need to go to the bathroom. They have a place to go. These are going to be disastrous. And the another bad part of this is that Zoran Mamdani and his police department are not going to allow the police to roust the homeless people and degenerates that are using these bathrooms for things that are not going to the bathroom. So I don't know. Maybe I'm a pessimist. Perhaps I'm not looking at this in an optimistic way, a way that somebody that isn't completely black-pilled would look at it. I don't know, but judging by the people that I see in New York City when I come up there and walk around, the only people using those bathrooms are going to be nightmares. Do you remember a while back when Starbucks, they had a situation where some people were waiting to use the bathroom and they were kicked out, and it was made into a big race socioeconomic problem. And Starbucks said, hey, we are allowing anyone that wants. They don't have to buy anything. They don't have to do. They could sit at our tables as long as they like, and they could use our Starbucks bathrooms. Well, this isn't happening anymore, and it hasn't been happening for quite some time because no one announced when they finally said enough, because their bathrooms were being inundated with degenerate drug addicts. Literally, finger painting on the wall with, well, it wasn't finger paints. Doing drugs, sleeping in there. The customers couldn't get in and use it, the actual paying customers, because there's a homeless guy asleep. And God forbid we call the cops on a poor, disadvantaged homeless person. Anyway, another great thing that Zoran Mamdani's bringing to New York City. Modular gay sex parlors and shooting galleries for drug addicts. Bravo. Back in a second.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
The Anthony Cumia Show, and boy, you know, you touch on other topics, but people really want to talk about this situation with Renee Good. This is Ben from Bayside, Queens. What's up, Ben?
How you doing, Anthony? Man, I go back to BAB days.
Oh, wow,
Anyways,
that
love
is
you, buddy.
a real long time ago.
Yeah, buddy. Anyways, Snoogans, first time call. What was it?
Quack, quack. Long time,
yeah,
first time, long time. Quack, quack.
Anyways,
Don Imus on the morning program. First time,
Don't do
long
that, don't do
time.
that. You're gonna make me die
It's
laughing.
Ben
Stop.
from Bayside,
Stop.
Queens. Ben, you jerk. What's up, man?
Anyways, as far as I'm very conservative, and I tell people why am I conservative? Because when I work 10 hours, Democrats take 3 hours of my day, but Republicans only take 2 hours of my day away from my pay, away from me.
Yeah.
And that's why I explain to the youngins why I'm conservative. I don't get into why guns or anything like that. Now, as far as the lady who accelerated the car into the
Renee
officer.
Good.
Okay, why would that officer run right up and put his knees against the bumper? At what point in the academy did they say put your knees in front of a vehicle?
Well, I didn't see where he did that. I saw that they both ran up to the vehicle, and
he's like 6 inches from it.
The partner
Back
was
away.
at the door, but he wasn't 6 inches from it. She backed up, and then when she
Again,
went forward,
Anthony,
he was
totally
in
justified,
front of the
totally
vehicle.
Justified.
Yeah.
But this guy was in another car. He got hit by a car, what, a year ago, whatever, a few months ago?
It was only a few months ago he had been struck by a vehicle. Yeah, the same
Yeah,
cop.
right. And you hear these officers, I never draw my... If this guy got hit by a car twice...
I honestly don't think he thought she was going to accelerate toward him. She backed up. He closed in. His partner was on the door looking to get her out of that vehicle. I don't think he thought for a second this woman was going to accelerate. Maybe that's his fault or his problem that he might have given her a little
So
more
close.
credit for not
Why
being
would
an
you come
idiot.
that close to the front of the vehicle?
But
Why would
I
you
don't
come that
see.
close?
I see that as you're blaming the cop, and I just don't
I'm
see
not.
it that way.
Again, I am back to blue 100%. All right,
Ben,
good
where
night.
are you driving right now? Where are you right now so the police can come and
I'm gonna
thank you
lose
for your...
myself, okay?
Thank you. All right, Ben. Thank you, man. Just so some officers might want to go there and help Ben out. I'm teasing, of course. But, yeah. So, all right. I was talking a little bit more about the great city of New York, as we know. And Zohar Mamdani has Sia Weaver. Sia Weaver. This is his choice for, she's going to be the advocate for renters, a housing advocate, somebody that's going to be on the side of the poor people that have to live in these horrible buildings. But her idea of private home ownership is a little scary when it comes to Mamdani appointing her to something that has to do with housing. Because like Zohar Mamdani, this woman seems to be a full-fledged commie and wants to eliminate private house ownership. They're already doing it. They're already trying to enact these proposals that they have to make private ownership of a building something you cannot do in New York City. How? Well, let's say you want to sell it. They want right of first refusal. You have to approach the city with your building or domicile or commercial property that you want to sell, you have to go to the city first to see if they want to buy it. How could this possibly be legal? It's your property. You want to sell it. You should damn well be able to sell it to anyone. Private citizen, the city, whatever it is. Right when you say for sale, whoever comes up with an offer, you should be able to take it or not. Well, they don't want you to. Zoran Memdani in New York City now want you to have to first go to New York City. And if they don't want to buy it, and by the way, it's going to take a long time before they decide to tell you they don't want to buy it. And in that interim, you can't sell it. So they can make you wait months sitting on it, still paying taxes, still wanting to sell it, but you can't because you have to sell it to the city or offer to sell it to the city first. Now let's say they say, well, we don't want it. So now you could sell it to a private buyer. Well, now the private buyer makes you an offer. Great, I'll take it. Now the city goes, hey, you have to submit his offer to us, and we have the right to match it. And again, how long is that going to take? You think a buyer wants to sit there for months waiting to see if he could buy a building or a house or whatever it is or not? You think he's going to want to sit there? This is a tactic by this communist regime to eliminate private property. You will be compelled to sell it to the government, New York City. And then what are they going to do with it? Yep, low-cost public housing subsidized by your tax money. It's a way to get them to buy your property, regardless if you want to sell it to them or not. This is happening, people. This is going on. This is what New York City voted for. I can't believe it. How are you so stupid to think this? So here's the Sia Weaver. She's part of this scam, because that's what I absolutely say it is. And here's what she thinks about home ownership. Let's listen.
Democratically controlled public housing is really important. And that's why when Raquel was talking about the communities and that she's describing, that, you know, that's a created community where the people who are living there are like setting the agenda. And so, you know, people like home ownership because they like control, and that's been perverted by like deep racism and deep classism in our society. Oh. So like we have to not have a racist and classist society. And so that's like something we need to think about like deeply. But you know, to me, it's about control, and why rent control is really important is because rent control alters the power dynamic between renters and who owns the building. And yeah, she doesn't want private owners of these buildings. She wants the state, the government, to own these buildings. Private ownership is racist. Did you know that? I hope you don't own a house out there, because you are racist. The whole concept of owning private property is racist and classist. And we've seen these commies say this before. They want to run everything. And then they'll give food and shelter and transportation. They'll give it all to you for free. That's all going to be free, people. Doesn't that sound great? It's free. How does it get paid for? Well, you have to kick in. You give them your money. They'll take their cut, and it's a hefty one. And then whatever's left over, they'll sprinkle it out like Tetra fish food over the fish tank, and whatever fish can get to the top fast enough can benefit from it. But that's communism. That's not a Democrat socialist. Oh, I'm a democratic socialist. Their policies are blatant USSR communism. Like Jackie Gleason said in Smokey and the Bandit. And that ain't nothing but plain old-fashioned communism. And you could all be proud in the knowledge that you went into a voting booth and voted for Zoran Mamdani. Now, I know your choices were a little limited. Cuomo or Mr. Guardian Angel Curtis Sliwa. And we're pretty far past that right now, but good luck. Back in a minute.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
The Anthony Cumia Show, and just talking about Sia Weaver, and she's one of Mamdani's gals, a raging commie that wants to make sure every building in New York is owned by the city, by the government, and they'll dole out how they feel they should dole it out to people. But that wasn't her only comment. I want to play this one really quickly. Sia Weaver, she also, she looks to other leaders. This is the great thing about Sia Weaver. She looks to other leaders around the country to inspire her and take a lead and get guidance from some of these other great leaders who have amazing success stories where they are leading their cities and states and whatnot. So here's Sia Weaver, and just listen to who she's drawing guidance from. You don't have the Sia Weaver? Come on. Oh, whenever I hear that in my headphone, it's like, I don't have that. Okay, thanks, man. Here's Sia Weaver.
We should really look to what Brandon Johnson and as well as the Chicago Teachers Union is doing to really use the schools and the city as sites of resistance against the federal incursion. If you're comfortable in your coalition, you're not winning power. If ICE and the National Guard are coming to New York City, ICE is already here. If the National Guard is coming on January 1st, which we know they are, we really have to use our tenant associations and our parent-teacher associations and our public schools as like networks of defense in support of Zoran's agenda and in support of our neighbors.
So Sia Weaver is looking for guidance from Brandon Johnson, the mayor of Chicago. For a second, can you soak that in? That's who she's looking at. And what did she say? What is she looking at as far as Brandon Johnson, what he's done, that she could then say, this would be a great thing for New York City, as it has been for Chicago. Using the school system, the education system of Chicago as a base of resistance to the federal Trump government. Using the school system and the parent-teacher association and everything else involving what is supposed to educate children, using that as a base of operations for some type of resistance, making sure the LGBTQ community is taken care of by, again, using the school system. Have you looked at the grades and the kids that are coming out of Chicago and their math and reading skills? Have you seen that? They're the lowest in Faber history. Fat, drunk, and stupid is no way to go through life, son. They are the lowest, amongst the lowest in the country. But they'd rather have the school system as a base of operation for this resistance against Trump and ICE and these cheerleaders for the LGBTQ community than actually using it to educate the children. It's an utter and complete failure in its primary mission, which is to teach kids the most basic things they need to enter adult life: math and reading. I'm not even talking, science, social studies, if that's even a thing anymore. Obviously, physical education isn't. Bunch of fat bastards coming out of schools. But instead of teaching them and making sure when they graduate or are just thrown out of high school, graduation doesn't seem to mean much these days as far as your education goes. But don't you think being able to read a job application, being able to do the simplest of math to balance your budget, I was going to say checkbook, but no one uses that anymore. But, hey, you got online banking. How about you're able to look and see what came in and what went out, and if there's a mistake or if you're being swindled? Simple math, simple English. Chicago is in the crapper as far as their students coming out of high school. And this Sia Weaver is looking toward Mayor Johnson and his great plan that he's executed for using the school system instead of teaching the kids as a base of resistance. You some of Mitches in New York, what have you done? What have you wrought? Kyle, what's that, Kyle? Kyle in Virginia, what's up, man?
Hey, Anthony, I'm a long time, first time now.
Quack, quack. Thanks.
Yeah, man. I was looking at the correlation with this whole Renee Good being shot by the law and the libtards being so in an uproar about it. But when we had an issue with Miss Babbitt getting shot by the law, everybody was saying, "Oh, he was justified," So it's good that one of their freaks got it, and are freaking out now about it, and we
Ashley Babbitt has been looked at over the years from the second she was murdered, has been looked at as a terrorist, as this insurrectionist who was trying to get in to the Capitol to murder the senators and Congress people and whatnot. And truth be told, she was shot by an overzealous, racist Capitol policeman who shot her in the neck when she was no threat whatsoever to anybody. She wasn't driving a vehicle toward him. She did not have a weapon. She wasn't even in the room that this guy was in. And she was summarily dispatched by him. And she's looked at as this horrible guy. He received a medal of sorts. This guy's a hero in liberal political circles. Now this. Well, go ahead, my friend.
Oh, I was just going to say, as Dice would say, she's over there now. So.
I'm over here now. So, and then this Renee Good, who was driving a vehicle toward a cop. I don't care. You could say the whys, hows. Why was he in front? The wheels were turned. This. She drove her vehicle toward a cop. There's no denying that. Every single instance that we've seen on video shows her driving her vehicle toward a law enforcement officer. Now go ahead and talk about the direction of the tires, that she's awesome, that he shouldn't have been there, that whatever it is. She drove her vehicle toward him. How is Ashley Babbitt, this horrible terrorist who deserved everything she got, the cop gets a medal, and Renee Good is this wonderful person, and the law enforcement, the ICE agent, is a terrible person? Well, the only difference are legal ideologies and what she was doing, supposedly protesting horrible police officers that Trump put out there. It's all bull. It's all
I agree.
crap.
I do want to say one more thing, if I can, before I get off.
Sure.
I think Arnold said it the best in Batman and Robin, the Iceman cometh. So,
yes.
anyways.
And you best watch out. Thank you, Kyle. Yeah, the Iceman cometh, and we voted for it. It's like I was talking about earlier with stupid Moby asking people to admit they were wrong. Come on, Trump supporters, just admit you were wrong. What? We could not be happier with the way things are going. And did any of them admit they were wrong when for 4 years we were talking about Joe Biden's Alzheimer's and his vice president, Kamala Harris, her alcohol intake and her rambling speeches that said nothing? And did they ever admit that perhaps they were wrong and he was mentally impaired? And we all knew it, and were saying it before he was elected. So when he had that debate with Trump and they threw him out of the election, the Democrats threw him out the way he screwed up on that debate. Was that the moment that all the Democrats said, all right, I'll agree. Yes, I made a mistake voting for him. Yes, I agree. Was that it, Moby? That we're supposed to now, because he's doing exactly what he said he was going to do when he campaigned, exactly what we voted for, that we're now supposed to go, oh, yeah, that was oof. Ooh, we shouldn't have done that. How dumb can you be? Moby, indeed. God. It's just... So Chuck Schumer, speaking of insurrections and whatnot, they tried to make a thing out of the 5th anniversary of the January 6th trespassing. The January 6th, oops, maybe I shouldn't have come in. So they because, look, the Democrats are in a real bind right now. They don't look good. Everything they do, they're blatantly lying to people on the internet, on TV. All of this that they're saying, it's the opposite of what they have said just months ago. And you could pull those up very easily. Very, very easily. The Venezuela thing was a great example of that. Chuck Schumer talking about how Maduro had to be removed. This guy's got to go. Donald Trump has said things, but nothing's being done. This guy's still in power. And literally months later, all right, maybe a couple of years, but definitely in the window of we can see it online, like he said it in 1972. And there he is going, this is terrible, illegal. Donald Trump kidnapping a world leader. And so they lie to you, and it's obvious. It's right in front of your face. So they've been in a bad way. The corruption in Minnesota, everything that's going on is just showing that these Democrats are a disaster. And they've been a disaster for this country. And we need to do something about it. So they need to grab any straw they can. They're grabbing anything they can to try to turn that around. So they thought that the January 6th 50-year anniversary was going to be a thing. 5 years after 9/11, the big lights where the World Trade Center was shining up in the sky. Oh, now look, Zohran Mamdani's mayor. I'm sure for Pearl Harbor, there was a big thing 5 years later. Oh, let's remember what happened. And So they try to make that a thing. Meanwhile, most of America, especially sane America, damn well knows that wasn't an insurrection. And the people that were arrested and imprisoned, that was the gravest of miscarriages of justice. But that wouldn't stop Schumer and friends from trying to make it a thing, try to get some heat from it. It didn't work. It failed miserably. No one cared. But here's Chuck Schumer talking about January 6th with the vigil and, go ahead.
Let us remember the attack of January 6th is not over. It lives on in the threats to our election workers. It lives on through those who want to take away our right to vote, who want to legalize voter discrimination. We must never, never, never stop fighting for this beautiful democracy, which January 6th showed us is more fragile than we ever imagined.
A bunch of dudes just, look, we're in the Capitol. Holy crap, look, I got Nancy Pelosi's podium. This is awesome. I'm wearing horns, dude. Oh, how fragile our democracy is. Let's just play this out. No cops are in the Capitol, and every single person that broke into the Capitol were in the Capitol. How does that play out? What is the end game there? Congress people and senators swinging from nooses in the rotunda? I don't think so. I think they go, cool. Hey, I know this good gin mill down the street. They wanted that to be their be-all, end-all. Look at these traitorous terrorists trying to take over the Capitol, insurrection. And he's talking about it like, oh, we remember that day. Oh, please. Nothing happened. Nothing would have happened. You used it. You made a couple of thousand people political prisoners, trying to set an example, trying to scare other Americans from having a dissenting opinion, from trying to say, hey, maybe something was going on with that election. I don't like it. Protecting the lives of election workers. What, the ones that had suitcases under their tables that covered up the windows of the counting locations, that had a broken pipe, and then suddenly at 3 a.m, Biden was winning? Those election workers, they have to be protected from the guy with the horns or the guy laughing, taking Pelosi's podium out of the Capitol? It's disgusting, but I am happy that they got no mileage out of that. They tried to make this thing. They stood there in the Capitol with candles. Oh, please. They're disgustingly dishonest, deceptive, lying, corrupt. And Chuck Schumer is right up there at the head, the titular head, as they say. Another New York friggin' prize that you keep electing in office, New York. Knock it off, New York. Jesus, give us a break, New York. Come to your senses. All right, back in a flash. Stick around.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
The new year brings new health goals and wealth goals. Protecting your identity is an important step. Your info is in endless places that could expose you to identity theft, leading to lost funds. LifeLock monitors millions of data points per second. If your identity is stolen, our restoration specialists will fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Resolve to make identity health and wealth part of your New Year's goals with LifeLock. Save up to 40% your first year. Visit LifeLock.com/podcast. Terms apply.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
The Anthony Cumia Show, and I talked earlier and promised that, one of the voices of Minnesota would be heard on this show, and that, of course, is former governor of Minnesota, Jesse the Body Ventura. Later, when he was the politician, Jesse the Mind. That's what they called me, Jesse the Mind Ventura. And, he was governor, and that was pretty much what everyone said. What the hell is wrong with the people of Minnesota? They elected Jesse Ventura. I don't have time to bleed. But they did. And with all the news coming out of Minnesota these days, Jesse felt compelled to speak up. This is a long clip. We're obviously not going to play the whole thing. But I just want to give a little taste of what Jesse the Body / the Mind Ventura has to say about everything that's going on in his state of Minnesota. Jesse?
Chris, did it make you feel better to have that conversation, or what would you say?
No, I'm just saying, as a graduate of Roosevelt High School and as the former governor of Minnesota, I'm so proud of Roosevelt High School and how they stood up for what is supposed to be America and freedom. And freedom is not arresting people without warrants. We have a system here. It's called a Constitution. And we have a party, the Republicans, who don't seem to want to abide by the Constitution. January 6th is a prime example of that. And now they're all free and they're in charge. You know what? Maybe it's time for Jesse. I only did one term. I'm owed a second.
Mr. Ventura, can you remind us, you went to school here?
I went to school here. I'm a 1969 graduate of Minneapolis Roosevelt. I'm proud of them for what they did. They made me proud as an alumni. Go Teddies.
What are your thoughts? I know we're jumping in, probably doubling up on some of his questions, but what are some of your thoughts about what unfolded yesterday, and then after that, what you saw?
Well, I've told you already. We're a country of the Constitution. We have leadership now that has destroyed the Constitution. They don't follow it. They could care less about it. Am I right or wrong? I took an oath to defend the Constitution against all enemies,
to defend
the
belt and the WWF.
After January 6th, the Republican Party is a domestic enemy to our Constitution.
I'm coming for you.
I can't get any bolder than that, can I?
And you obviously saw the video that the student shot outside here, and that obviously elicited a lot of emotions for you. Just watching
What do you mean
that,
the student shot
there were some
outside?
students who shot the video of the chaos.
What do you mean?
Yesterday.
You get so angry.
Oh, you didn't see it? Okay, I thought you
didn't
did.
see it.
Okay.
The only thing I've seen is the murder.
The murder.
You were a student here. When did you
All
graduate?
right, that's enough. He's so Jesse. I mean, he really is.
What are you talking about? I graduated from this.
You hear him talking over his dentures? Poor bastard.
I'm Jesse Dentura. Jesse the Tooth Dentura. I wear dentures, and they're flying out of my head like I used to fly off the top rope. And when I would do interviews with Mean Gene, they were a lot smarter and a lot better than the ones you're doing with me right now.
Really, Jesse? What do you think about Donald Trump?
Well, I think he's a criminal. Hold on. My upper palate just came out of my mouth. It's stuck in my feather boa. I've taken to wearing it again, like I did in the old days. I'm coming for you, Hulk Hogan.
Almost sounding like Reagan. It's almost a Reagan thing going on. What the hell? Come on, Jesse.
I saw the murder. You know, when I was filming Predator, that's the real me. Put me out there on the streets with a minigun from a helicopter, and I'll take care of all those ICE agents.
Will you, Jesse? What? He is gonzo. Just gonzo. You know, I used to think he was kind of a conservative, but he's just a nutative. Every year I fly down to Baja and I go off the grid. I don't like having a presence on the internet. I had a show about conspiracies, and they wouldn't let me on Plum Island. They turned my boat around, but I'm a governor, a fighter, a Navy SEAL. I was a guy in an alien movie. They should have let me in. All right, Jesse. Thank you, Jesse Ventura. I love having guests on my show, like Jesse Ventura. Jesse, don't you think they didn't let you onto Plum Island because it's an island that they keep some of the most deadly diseases to study and study? But I know, Anthony, but I was a fighter with the WWF before this WWE. I was a Navy SEAL. They called them frogmen in Vietnam. That's where I was. I had a necklace of ears from the Vietnamese. And me and my buddies would say, that's a good Viet Cong, 'cause he was dead. All right, Jesse. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. Jesse the Body Ventura, ladies and gentlemen. Holy crap. He's nutty as a fruitcake, as my Grammy used to say. Nutty as a fruitcake. Anyway, all right, people. I thank you so much for tuning in. Everyone that called in, the people that listen on the radio or the app. The app's available. And don't forget my X account, Anthony Cumia, if you want to comment before next Sunday. And, yeah, I appreciate it. We will see you back here next Sunday, so pencil that one in. Always a great time. Oh, that Jesse, he is a hoot and a half, ain't he? All right, we'll see you next week. Everyone have a great evening and a great rest of your week.
Thanks for listening to The Anthony Cumia Show. You can hear The Anthony Cumia Show Sunday nights at 8. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?
Every week, the Payne family cuts straight to the real financial story.
The one question, Bob, everyone's asking is, are we in an artificial intelligence bubble? You've been through boom and busts. What do you think?
No hype, no myths. Just what actually matters to your money.
Does feel very similar to what we experienced in the 90s. Where are we, though? Are we in 1995, 1997, 1999?
Listen to the Pain Points of Wealth on the Red Apple Podcast Network.